When Jungkook returns from Tokyo with a secret companion, Jimin confronts him. What he uncovers shatters trust and exposes betrayal at the heart of BTS. Tell me who she is, Jungkook. Right now. Jimin's voice sliced through the silence of the dressing room like broken glass under pressure. The door slammed shut behind him. Jungkook didn't look up from his phone. You've been quiet for weeks. Tokyo changed everything, didn't it? Jimin's tone was brittle, a fragile wall barely containing fury. Jungkook finally raised his head, eyes unreadable. I don't owe you an explanation. Jin, standing by the rack of stage outfits, froze mid-reach. What's going on? Stay out of it, Jimin snapped. He's been hiding something, and I'm done playing along. Jimin, Jungkook said evenly. If you want answers, lower your voice. No, Jimin took a step forward. Because every time I've tried to talk to you, you've brushed me off, ignored my messages, left group dinners early. Who the hell did you meet in Tokyo? Jungkook said nothing. You didn't go there for business. You weren't alone. And don't even try lying, because the staff who saw you at Narita, that's none of their business. Jungkook cut in sharply. Oh, so now our crew's just collateral damage in your secrets? Jimin's voice broke for the first time. Do you realize what this is doing to us? To the team? There's no us if you can't trust me. Jungkook replied coldly. No, Jungkook. There's no trust when you disappear and come back with lipstick on your shirt collar. Jungkook stood up. You're spiraling. Jimin laughed. He wasn't amused. You think this is paranoia? Taehyung saw her at the hotel. Yoongi said you missed 2 rehearsals without explanation. You think we're all delusional? I didn't ask you all to play surveillance, Jungkook snapped. If you're so obsessed with my personal life, maybe you should look at what you're avoiding in yours. Jin stepped in. Enough. But Jimin wasn't finished. Just tell me who she is, he whispered. A long pause followed. Jungkook's jaw tensed. She's someone who knows how to keep her promises, he said. Someone who didn't abandon me when I needed to disappear. Silence fell. The room's tension was volcanic. Jimin took a step back. So that's what this is about? You think I abandoned you? You promised you'd be there after Busan, Jungkook said quietly. You vanished. You ghosted me. For weeks. I had a panic attack, Jungkook, Jimin shouted. You saw what that stage did to me. I was breaking, and I was waiting. Jungkook's voice thundered now. You could have told me you needed time. You didn't. You just left. They stared at each other like strangers. Is she the one from the studio? Jimin finally asked. The lyricist from the private sessions? No. Then who is she? Jungkook didn't blink. You don't know her, but she knows everything about you, about us. What's that supposed to mean? Jimin demanded. She knows what we were before we became what we are now. This tense, toxic mess, Jungkook said. She knows how much I protected you when you were spiraling. How much I kept secret. Jimin stepped forward again, his voice low. What did you tell her? Only the truth, Jungkook said. That I've been walking on eggshells around you for the past year. That every time you smile at me on camera, it feels like a lie. Jimin's entire posture stiffened. You're blaming me for this? You never look back, Jimin. Not once. I was drowning, and I was invisible. The door creaked open. Namjoon entered, clearly sensing the storm. Everything okay in here? No, Jimin said, never taking his eyes off Jungkook. He's hiding something. Jungkook turned to Namjoon. Tell him to stop acting like he owns me. Jungkook, Namjoon warned. Everyone's worried. I don't care, Jungkook said. I've earned the right to have my own life. So it's true then, Jimin murmured. You've moved on. Jungkook didn't answer. Jimin took another breath. Then tell the truth to all of us. Who is she? Jungkook reached into his jacket, pulled out his phone, and tossed it on the table. A photo flashed across the screen. It was blurry, but unmistakable. Her face. Her name's Hana, Jungkook said flatly. She used to work with Hybe's legal team. She's no one famous, no one important to you, but she's everything I needed. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was heavy. Jimin looked down at the image. I remember her, he said softly. She was the intern during the contract dispute. The one who cried after you defended her in front of Bang Si-hyuk. Yeah, Jungkook said. And she's the one who stood by me when I said I didn't want to renew under the same terms. Namjoon stiffened. You're not renewing? Jungkook looked at him, then at Jimin. I'm going independent, he said. Starting next year. You didn't tell us, Namjoon said. I didn't owe it to anyone, Jungkook said. Not after the way everyone acted like my decisions were dangerous. Jimin's fists clenched. We trusted you. No, Jungkook said. You tolerated me. Namjoon tried to intervene again. Let's not do this now. There's a press meeting in 20. You think I care? Jungkook said. You think any of this matters when the people I called brothers don't even see me anymore? You're blowing everything up, Jimin said bitterly. For her? No, Jungkook replied. For me. He walked past them and out the door. Jin finally moved. Should we follow? No, Jimin whispered. Let him go. Namjoon looked between them. What now? Jimin sat down slowly, eyes still fixed on the image left on the phone screen. Now, he said, voice hollow, we figure out what else we didn't know about him. You want the truth? Jimin's voice echoed across the practice room, sharp and clear. You want everyone to know what really happened between us? Fine. Let's start now. The room was empty except for Namjoon, Jin, Jimin, and Jungkook, who stood near the mirrored wall, arms crossed, face unreadable. The other members had been told to clear out. They knew it was about to get worse. You think this is about her? Jimin's tone climbed. This isn't about her. This is about you acting like none of us mattered the moment someone finally validated your victim complex. Jungkook flinched. Don't twist this into something it's not. Oh, I'm twisting things? Jimin's laugh was humorless. You vanished from our group chat for days, ignored every call from me and the manager, and now you say I abandoned you? I needed space, Jungkook snapped. Not more questions. Not more judgment. You never gave me that. You mean I didn't coddle you like she did? Jimin stepped forward. You think because someone held your hand in Tokyo and whispered that you were right, now the rest of us are wrong? Jungkook's fists clenched. Don't talk about her like that. She's not sacred. Jimin shot back. She's not untouchable. She's someone you clung to because you were too afraid to face the people who know you best. You don't know me anymore, Jungkook replied coldly. You only know the version of me that served your comfort. The one that didn't question your silence. The one who waited for you to come back while choking on every headline about your breakdown. Don't weaponize my trauma, Jimin hissed. You think you were the only one hurting? I was drowning too, and yet you had everyone rallying around you? Jungkook's voice cracked. I stood outside your apartment for hours, Jimin. Hours. I didn't leave until the sun came up. You knew I was there, and you never opened the door. Jimin's mouth opened, but no words came. I read the fan letters you never read, Jungkook continued. The ones that begged me to protect you, to be patient. And I was. I swallowed every bitter thought because I told myself you'd come back when you were ready. Jin shifted awkwardly. Maybe this isn't the time. No, Jimin said, regaining composure. Let him finish. Let him turn everything into my fault. Jungkook shook his head. It's not about blame. It's about truth. You stopped seeing me as a person. I was a shadow, background noise in your crisis. And you were a savior in yours? Jimin asked bitterly. Is that how you see yourself now? I see myself as someone who finally stopped waiting to matter. Namjoon finally stepped in. This isn't helping. You both are bleeding, and you're using each other's wounds as weapons. I didn't start this, Jimin muttered. And I didn't ask to be discarded, Jungkook replied. There was a long silence. Then what now? Jin asked quietly. What do we do with this? Jungkook walked toward the speaker console in the corner, picked up his phone, and opened a folder. You want to know everything? He tapped on a recording. This is from Tokyo. It's not a leak. It's something I recorded for myself. Why would you show us something private? Namjoon asked. Because I'm tired of being accused in silence, Jungkook said. I want you to hear how I really felt. He pressed play. The room filled with Jungkook's voice, speaking raw, unfiltered. She asked me what it felt like being the youngest in a group that sometimes treated me like the strongest. I told her it felt like suffocating, like being praised while simultaneously being invisible. I was everyone's little brother, but when I broke, no one noticed. The recording played on. She said I was too kind, that I smiled too much, that I needed to stop pretending. And I didn't know how to argue. Because she was the first person who didn't ask me to smile first. Jimin looked away. His jaw trembled. She said she admired Jimin, that his passion was unmatched. But she also said she saw the pressure it put on me. Because every time he fell, I carried the silence. I covered for him. I smiled through it. Jungkook stopped the recording. I wasn't trying to expose you, he said. I was trying to heal. Jimin turned back to him, eyes dark.
Then why didn't you come to me?
I did, Jungkook replied. You locked the door. You should have knocked louder. And you should have remembered I don't scream. Namjoon pinched the bridge of his nose. This is getting us nowhere. No, Jimin whispered. It's getting us somewhere awful. Jungkook stared at him. Are you sorry? For what? For making me feel like a ghost. Jimin's voice broke. I thought I was the ghost. The door creaked open. Taehyung stepped in. He looked around, clearly aware of the storm he had just walked into. I heard yelling. Of course you did, Jimin said. Everything's loud now. Taehyung looked at Jungkook. You really brought her to Tokyo? Jungkook nodded. Did you tell her everything? I didn't have to, Jungkook replied. She already knew. Taehyung frowned. How? She was watching us longer than you think. Jin raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? She wasn't just HYBE legal, Jungkook said. She was assigned to monitor internal tensions during the lawsuit period. She read our communications. She knew which members were struggling. She saw everything. Jimin's face paled. You told us she was an intern. She was, Jungkook said. But she was also more than that. She was documenting the cracks. Namjoon turned sharply. Are you saying HYBE planted her? She came in during the crisis, Jungkook said. I was the only one who bothered talking to her. She remembered that. Jimin laughed bitterly. So, she made you feel seen. And now, she's the truth teller. No, Jungkook replied. But she's the first person who didn't try to fix me. Taehyung folded his arms. So what now? You leave us behind and run away with her? I'm not running, Jungkook said. I'm building. At the expense of everything we built? Jimin's voice was raw. Our years together? Our sweat? Our pain? Was that nothing? It was everything, Jungkook whispered. But it ended the moment we stopped choosing each other. Jimin turned away. Jungkook's voice softened. You asked me once if I would ever hate you. I said no. Do you now? Jimin asked without looking back. No, Jungkook said. But I no longer live, waiting for your apology. A long silence stretched between them. Then I guess this is goodbye, Jimin said. No, Namjoon said firmly. This is anger, not the end. Sometimes they're the same, Jungkook said quietly, walking toward the door. As he reached it, Jimin called out, She's not the reason you're leaving. Jungkook stopped. You're leaving because you think you were never enough for us. Jungkook didn't turn around. And maybe I wasn't. He opened the door. But I will be enough for myself. Then he left. The room sat in silence, the weight of years pressing down on every breath. Namjoon finally spoke. What if we've already lost him? Jin answered quietly. Then maybe we weren't listening hard enough. And for the first time in years, no one knew what to say next. You told her about the lawsuit. You told her about my panic attacks. You told her everything we buried. Jimin spat, the words launching across the room like knives. It was 2 days after Jungkook's confession. 2 days of silence. 2 days of collective tension that turned every room they entered into a war zone of eye contact, avoidance, and whispered conversations that stopped whenever someone opened a door. But now, they were face to face again. Jimin had asked to meet, not at the studio, not at the dorms, somewhere private, cold. A conference room at HYBE's 9th floor, rarely used and stripped of emotion, like a sterile operating table for their fractured friendship. Jungkook didn't flinch. He sat across the table, hands resting still, eyes sharp. I told her what I lived through, he said. I didn't weaponize your pain. I told her mine. Don't split hairs, Jimin snapped. She knows things that only you, me, and God were supposed to know. And you think that was easy for me? Jungkook replied, voice cracking slightly. You think it felt good to relive it all? You think it didn't tear me apart to admit I spent years pretending I was fine while I was burning? Then why her? Jimin's voice trembled with rage. Why not me? Why didn't you come to me before you went to someone who doesn't even know who we are? Because she listened, Jungkook answered. You didn't. Jimin stood abruptly, chair scraping. I've listened to you more than anyone in this damn company. You heard me. You didn't listen, Jungkook corrected. There's a difference. Stop playing the victim, Jimin said. You're not the only one who got bruised. Jungkook rose to his feet. I'm not asking for pity. Then what the hell do you want? Jungkook's answer came without pause. Accountability. That landed like a slap. Jimin blinked. You're saying I'm the reason you broke? I'm saying we both broke. But only one of us stayed behind to clean up. Jimin let out a dry, bitter laugh. You really believe that? Jungkook didn't speak. That silence was louder than any reply. So what else did you tell her? Jimin asked, biting the inside of his cheek. What else did you give her that you never gave me? She knows what it's like to be used for someone else's story, Jungkook said. She knows what it's like to be told to smile while dying inside. She gets it. I get it too, Jimin whispered. Not when you disappear every time it gets too dark, Jungkook said. A beat of silence passed between them. I thought I was protecting you, Jimin said. By staying away. And I thought I was protecting you by staying silent, Jungkook said. We were both wrong. Jimin collapsed into the chair, burying his face in his hands. You really think this is beyond fixing? Jungkook leaned forward. I think the only way to fix it is to tell the truth. All of it. Jimin looked up slowly. Even if it ruins everything? Especially if it does, Jungkook said. A knock came at the door. Neither spoke. It opened slightly, and Yoongi stepped inside. I wasn't eavesdropping. The walls here are just thin. Jungkook's expression remained impassive. Come to join the trial? Yoongi ignored the jab. Jimin, I heard what happened. You okay? No, Jimin said. But I'm not bleeding anymore. Good, Yoongi replied. Because this next part might open wounds you didn't know were still healing, Jungkook sat back. Let me guess. You knew about her too. Yoongi's eyes met his. No, but I knew she was asking questions. About you. About us. About the tour cancellations and the therapy breaks. Jimin turned sharply. And you didn't tell me? She wasn't dangerous, Yoongi said. She was curious. I thought she was part of the damage control team. She was, Jungkook said. But she cared more than anyone else did, or she pretended to. Jimin shot back. She didn't leak anything, Jungkook said. She protected things even you would have thrown into the fire. Jimin stood again. Then why hide her? Why sneak around like a scandal if it was all innocent? Because nothing about me has been innocent in years, Jungkook whispered. I've been surviving, not living, and I didn't want the first person who made me feel human again to be torn apart by headlines. Yoongi looked between them. She asked me last year if Jimin and Jungkook were still close. I told her yes. I lied. Jimin's breath caught. I lied, Yoongi repeated, because the truth would have hurt too much to say out loud. No one spoke for a while. Then Jungkook broke the silence. She's not the enemy. Neither am I, Jimin replied. But we made each other one, Jungkook said. Jimin looked down at his hands. What did we become? Something fragile, Jungkook said. Something that can still be rebuilt, but only if we stop pretending nothing happened. Yoongi backed toward the door. I'll leave you two to figure out if that's possible. He left. Jimin leaned forward. There's something I never told you, he said. Jungkook met his eyes. The night you waited outside my apartment, I was inside. I heard you knock. I even got up once, but I froze. I was afraid. Afraid of what? Jungkook asked. That if I opened the door, you'd see how broken I really was, Jimin said. And you'd leave anyway. I never would have left, Jungkook said quietly. I know that now, Jimin said. But I didn't trust love back then. Not even yours. Jungkook's lips tightened. And I didn't trust myself to not resent you for being stronger, Jimin added. You thought I was stronger? Jungkook's laugh was soft. I envied how openly you could cry. Then why did we never say any of this? Jimin asked. Because we were trained to smile, Jungkook said. To perform, even in private. I miss you, Jimin said. Not just as a member, but as my best friend. I miss you too, Jungkook said. But I don't miss who we became. Neither do I. Jimin reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. A crumpled photo. Their first magazine shoot. The two of them laughing. Pre-debut, pre-glory, pre-wounds. I keep this, he said. In my wallet. Even now. Jungkook's eyes lingered on the photo. That's the version of us I want back, Jimin said. It's not that simple, Jungkook replied. I know, Jimin said, but it's a start. Jungkook looked at him for a long time. I'm not coming back to Hybe, he said. That hasn't changed. I'm not asking you to, Jimin said. I'm asking you not to erase me. You're in every song I ever wrote, Jungkook whispered. Even the angry ones. Then let's write one more, Jimin said. A small, hesitant smile passed between them. Not peace, but truce. And in the world they'd built together, sometimes truce was more powerful than forgiveness. As they left the room, the hallway ahead felt unfamiliar. But at least, this time, they were walking side by side. You don't get to act like this is healing, Taehyung said, his voice shaking with frustration. You dropped a bomb, walked away from the wreckage, and now you want applause because you came back to sweep the ashes. Jungkook didn't move. He stood in the doorway of the rehearsal studio, gaze locked on Taehyung, the tension between them crackling with every breath. I didn't come here for applause, Jungkook said. I came here to tell the truth. Taehyung took a slow step forward. The truth? Whose truth, Jungkook? Yours? Hers? Because it sure as hell isn't ours. Jimin stood silently near the corner, watching. He had called Taehyung himself, told him Jungkook wanted to talk. He hadn't expected it to turn into another firestorm, but maybe he should have. You're angry, Jungkook said. Taehyung let out a bitter laugh. No, I'm disgusted. You told someone outside this group things that could have ended all of us. She didn't leak anything, Jungkook said. That's not the point, Taehyung shouted. You handed over our bleeding history to someone we didn't even know. You let her read us like a book, and now you're acting like it was therapy. It was survival, Jungkook said firmly. I was drowning. And we weren't? Taehyung shot back. You think Jimin didn't bleed in silence? You think I haven't been battling my own war for years? You think Yoongi hasn't been barely holding it together through every comeback? I didn't say I was the only one hurting, Jungkook said. But I was the only one who wasn't allowed to show it. That's a lie, Taehyung said. You were always protected. No, Jungkook said. I was always tolerated. That landed hard. The silence that followed was heavier than anything they'd felt on stage. You were the golden one, Taehyung said quietly. The world loved you. Management adored you. We fought to keep that light from breaking. You fought for the image, Jungkook corrected. Not for me. Jimin took a breath. He's not wrong. Taehyung turned. Don't defend him. I'm not, Jimin said. I'm admitting I was part of it too. You both sound like victims, Taehyung said. But we were all sacrificed to this machine. Don't pretend one of us carried more than the rest. I'm not pretending, Jungkook said. I'm just finally refusing to carry it alone. By betraying us? Taehyung snapped. She didn't expose anything, Jimin interjected. If anything, she kept more secrets than we did. Taehyung's jaw tightened. So you're with him now? After everything? I'm not with anyone, Jimin said. I'm trying to understand. Understand what? Taehyung asked. That everything we built can be reduced to a confession in a hotel room? No, Jungkook said. That everything we built was real, and I still had to leave to feel alive. You think you're better now? Taehyung asked. You think you're healed because you found someone who listened? I think I finally see clearly, Jungkook said. And it terrifies me. Taehyung's expression faltered. Jungkook took a step forward. I know I'm not the only one who's been gasping for air in this band, he said. But I'm the first one who said it out loud. Taehyung looked down. You think saying it fixes it? No, Jungkook said. But pretending it doesn't exist keeps killing us slowly. The door opened behind them. Bang Si-hyuk entered. I was wondering how long this would take, he said calmly, stepping into the room like a shadow that had always been there. Jimin straightened immediately. Jungkook didn't turn. Taehyung folded his arms. Cautious. You been watching? Jungkook asked without facing him. I always watch, Bang replied. I built this. You built us, Jungkook corrected. Not this. Bang gave a small nod. So tell me, Jungkook. What is this? Truth, Jungkook said. For once. Bang walked past them and sat on the bench. You've caused waves. The board is furious. Sponsors are pulling inquiries. The Tokyo rumors are still alive. I didn't make those rumors, Jungkook said. But you didn't kill them either, Bang replied. I was too busy trying not to drown in them. Bang looked at him. You should have come to me. I tried. Jungkook said. Your assistant said you were always in meetings. Bang gave a small sigh. You were always the unpredictable one, the wild card, but also the most profitable. And now I'm the liability. Jungkook finished. Bang stood. No, you're still valuable, but only if you cooperate. Jimin stepped forward. What does that mean? Bang looked between them. It means we craft a redemption arc. Jungkook apologizes. You all embrace. You perform again. The press eats it up. I'm not performing a lie, Jungkook said. Everything we've done is performance, Bang said. Even our tears were rehearsed. Not anymore, Jimin said. Taehyung stared. Are we seriously doing this? Are we choosing between honesty and survival now? We always were, Jungkook said. We just never said it. Bang looked at him. You're walking away from legacy. I'm walking toward my life. Bang nodded. Then you forfeit the rights to every song. I expected that, Jungkook said. Bang's voice dropped. And you're forbidden from using anything related to the name we gave you. I'll use the name my parents gave me, Jungkook said. That's enough. Bang walked to the door. You'll regret this. I already regret staying silent for this long. He left. The door clicked shut. Silence again. Jimin exhaled. That was suicide. No, Jungkook said. That was freedom. Taehyung looked at him. What happens now? I keep telling the truth, Jungkook said, even if it hurts. And us? Taehyung asked. That's up to you. Taehyung shook his head. You're exhausting. You're loyal to a fault, Jungkook said. But maybe now we can be honest about both. Taehyung didn't respond, but he didn't leave either. Jimin looked at Jungkook. There's one more thing I need to know, he said. Jungkook turned. Did you love her? Jimin asked. Not as a savior, not as a friend, but love. Jungkook didn't speak right away. Then he nodded. Yes. Jimin nodded slowly. Then don't lie to me again, he said. If you're choosing her, I can accept that. But don't pretend it didn't change everything. It did, Jungkook said. But not in the way you think. Jimin tilted his head. Then how? She didn't take me away, Jungkook said. She reminded me I was already gone. Taehyung whispered under his breath. God. Jimin closed his eyes. Then maybe it's time we all stop pretending we're okay. Jungkook stepped forward. So what do we do now? Taehyung looked at both of them. We stop hiding. And just like that, something shifted. Not fixed, but acknowledged. And sometimes, the most powerful thing a broken family can do is finally admit they're bleeding. End of episode 4. The press conference wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this. Not without warning. Not without preparation. And definitely not with the members walking in separately. But Jungkook had made a decision. One he hadn't told anyone about. It started with a single message in the group chat at 2:13 a.m. JK, I'm speaking tomorrow. You don't have to be there. But I'm not hiding anymore. None of them replied. Not Taehyung, not Jimin, not Namjoon, who had been the peacemaker for so long it had worn him hollow. The silence that followed was not approval. It was surrender. The next afternoon, the conference hall was packed. Lights, cameras, executives lined the back wall like a silent army. At the front sat Jungkook alone behind a white table, Hybe's logo faint behind him. He took a breath. I know there have been rumors, some of them ridiculous, some of them painful, and some of them true. No one blinked. No one moved. I've been part of BTS for over a decade. I've given it everything. My voice, my body, my joy, and my silence. Murmurs started in the press rows. Cameras clicked. I loved every stage, but I hated every time I had to pretend I wasn't falling apart off of it. Behind the curtains, Jimin stood motionless. He hadn't told anyone he would come. Not even himself. But when he saw the message, he knew this would be the last time Jungkook stood behind their name. And he couldn't stay away. Jungkook continued. Some of you already know. I'm leaving Hybe. I'm not leaving music. But I'm leaving the structure that asked me to stay silent about my pain in exchange for a perfect narrative. The executives at the back stiffened. I won't speak for my members. They have their own stories, their own truths. But I will speak for myself now. I was not okay. For a long time. And I couldn't say that because I was the strong one, the stable one. The youngest, who was supposed to hold it all together while everything around me cracked. He looked up, directly into the lens, and I know some of you want to know about her. The air in the room thinned. Yes, there was someone. Yes, she helped me. And no, she is not the reason I left. The truth is, I left long before I met her. I just didn't have the words yet. From behind the curtains, Jimin closed his eyes. Jungkook paused, then spoke again. I have nothing but gratitude for my brothers. But gratitude cannot silence grief. And I grieved, for years, quietly, alone, while the world clapped. He stood. The staff whispered, anxiously. I'm not taking questions today, but I promise my next song will answer what words can't. And he walked off stage. What he didn't expect was Jimin waiting in the hallway. You did it, Jimin said. I had to. Jimin nodded. It was honest. Too honest? No, Jimin said. But enough to break us in places we haven't even looked. They stood in silence, the weight of the years between them, thick and sharp. I thought you wouldn't come, Jungkook said. I didn't want to, Jimin admitted. But I couldn't not. You're angry. I'm wrecked, Jimin said. And I don't even know why anymore. Is it because you left? Because you replaced me? Because you told the truth before I could? Jungkook didn't speak. Or is it because you never looked back? I did, Jungkook said. I looked back so much I nearly crashed everything trying to drag the past with me. Jimin took a step closer. You told them everything, but not me. I didn't know how to, Jungkook said. Because every time I saw you, I wanted to be okay again. And I wasn't. Jimin's voice cracked. You should have let me break with you. I didn't want you to see me weak, Jungkook whispered. I would have held you, Jimin said, even if I was falling too. Jungkook looked at him. Would you? Jimin stepped even closer, the distance between them evaporating. I hated her, Jimin admitted. Not because she loved you, but because she saw the part of you I had locked away. And she didn't flinch. Jungkook swallowed hard. She didn't see it all. She didn't see you. Then why did you stay with her? Because with her, I didn't feel like I had to prove I was worth staying for. The words hung between them like a verdict. Jimin closed his eyes again. So, I was the one who made you feel dispensable. No, Jungkook said. But you were the one I needed most. And you didn't come. The silence cracked open, wide and unforgiving. I wrote you letters, Jimin said suddenly. I never sent them. I couldn't. Why? Because they all said, please come back, Jimin said. But none of them said, I understand why you left. Jungkook looked down. Maybe that's what I needed to hear most. The door down the hallway opened. Yoongi stepped in with Taehyung behind him. Namjoon followed moments later, all silent, all watching. Jimin turned. You're all here? We saw, Yoongi said. Live stream. I didn't plan to, Jungkook started. You didn't have to, Namjoon said. You spoke what we all swallowed. Taehyung looked conflicted. So what now? Jungkook looked at them. Now we stop lying. Even if it means burning it all down. Yoongi gave a tired smile. Then let's light the match together. And for a moment, the space between them wasn't filled with anger or blame, but something quieter. Recognition. They had all hurt, and none of them had spoken soon enough. Jimin looked at Jungkook. You're not coming back, are you? No? Then let me say goodbye this time. Jungkook nodded. Jimin reached out. His hand hovered for a second, then landed on Jungkook's shoulder. I'm sorry I didn't open the door that night. I'm sorry I stopped knocking. And just like that, there was closure. Not perfect, not painless, but real. As Jungkook left Hybe's building for the last time, fans crowded outside. Cameras clicked, voices screamed. But for once, he wasn't afraid. He turned to the crowd, bowed deeply, and then he walked away. Not because he was escaping, but because he was finally going somewhere that felt like his. Somewhere where he didn't have to smile unless he meant it. And in that quiet step forward, the past didn't vanish. It walked beside him, but it didn't own him anymore. The studio lights flickered, casting harsh reflections across the long glass table where the 5 remaining members of BTS sat in silence. It had been 3 weeks since Jungkook's press conference. 3 weeks since his name was formally removed from all future Hybe schedules. 3 weeks since the world split in half between those who called him a hero and those who branded him a traitor. The silence in the room was not for lack of things to say. It was heavy with the things they didn't know how to begin speaking. Jimin was the first to break it. Why did we let him walk away? Taehyung looked up slowly. Because we were too late to run after him. No, Jimin said, voice cracking. We weren't too late. We were too proud. Namjoon shifted, arms folded, his brows tight with something unreadable. He made his choice, Jimin. And what did we make? Jimin snapped. What choice did we make, Namjoon? To sit in this goddamn boardroom while he bled alone on national television? He wanted it that way, Namjoon said. No, Jimin said, rising from his chair. He didn't want to be alone. He wanted to be heard. And we listened, Yoongi said calmly. Even if it was too late. That's not enough, Jimin said. Not for me. A long pause stretched between them before Taehyung leaned back and muttered, You've been going to his apartment, haven't you? Jimin turned slowly, not denying it. What are you hoping to find? Taehyung asked. Closure? Or an open wound you can crawl back into? I don't know, Jimin whispered. Maybe I just want to feel close to something we all abandoned. Yoongi stood. I warned all of you 2 years ago he was slipping, and we were too busy trying to stay upright ourselves, Namjoon muttered. Jimin walked toward the wall where the group's platinum records were mounted. He touched the edge of one of them, not looking at anyone. Do you think he still sings? No one answered. That evening, Jimin showed up at Jungkook's apartment again. It was still dark, still untouched. He had the spare key, though he didn't know if it was still right for him to use it. He opened the door. The place smelled empty, clean, sterile, like a hospital room long after the patient had gone. But the piano in the corner was still there, and beside it, sheet music scattered across the floor. Half-finished lyrics, scribbled in his handwriting. Jimin crouched and read a few. One line broke him. I waited at your door until the silence screamed louder than your voice ever did. He sat down on the floor, back against the wall, and let the weight crush him. The door behind him opened again, but this time it wasn't him. Jungkook walked in, startled, holding a grocery bag in one hand and headphones in the other. They stared at each other for a moment that neither had prepared for. You still have the key, Jungkook finally said. Jimin stood, slow and uncertain. I didn't know if it was still mine. Jungkook walked past him, dropped the groceries on the kitchen counter. I thought you'd come earlier, he said. I didn't know what I'd say. Did you figure it out now? No, Jimin said. But I figured out what I should have said a long time ago. Jungkook turned, leaning on the counter. Then say it. I'm sorry, Jimin said. Not just for not opening the door, but for everything that followed. Jungkook stared at him. I thought I was the one protecting us, Jimin said. But I was only protecting my fear. Jungkook exhaled slowly. I didn't come here to fight. I didn't come here to beg, Jimin said. But I can't let this end without knowing whether I ever really knew you. You knew me, Jungkook said. But only the parts I let you see. Then tell me the rest. Jungkook looked at him long and hard. I was in love with you, he said finally. Back when it didn't make sense. Back when I didn't even know if I loved myself. Jimin's mouth parted slightly. And you didn't feel the same, Jungkook continued. You loved the idea of us, the partnership, the rhythm, but not me, not the way I loved you. I didn't know how to, Jimin whispered. Back then. And by the time you did, Jungkook said, it was too late. They stood in the silence that followed, shattered by unspoken confessions and memories too painful to resurrect. Jimin took a step forward. It's not too late if we don't let it be. Jungkook smiled faintly. Don't do that. Do what? Offer something you're not ready to carry. Jimin stepped closer. I'm ready now. Jungkook shook his head. You're grieving. That's not the same. I'm not asking you to come back, Jimin said. I'm asking you to let me in. You had your chance, and I'll regret losing it for the rest of my life, Jimin said. But I still want to know if the door's closed forever. Jungkook looked away. You don't understand what loving me looks like now. It's not poetic. It's not tour buses and hotel songs. It's therapy. It's sleepless nights. It's trauma responses and guilt I haven't figured out yet. Then let me sit with you in the wreckage. I'm not ready, Jungkook said. Jimin nodded slowly. Then I'll wait. But this time, I'll knock. Jungkook didn't stop him as he walked to the door. But before Jimin opened it, Jungkook spoke again. Did you mean it? Jimin turned. Which part? When you said it wasn't too late. Jimin looked at him for a long moment. It's only too late if you let it be. And then he left. Back in the apartment, Jungkook sat at the piano. He pulled the sheet music closer, picked up a pen, and wrote a new line. The knock I waited for finally came too soft, too late, but maybe still in time. Did you ever love me? Or did you just love the fact that I never left? Jimin's voice cracked as he stood in the middle of Jungkook's now half-empty apartment, hands clenched, his chest rising and falling unevenly. Jungkook didn't answer, not immediately. His jaw was tense, his fingers frozen around the edge of the suitcase he was halfway through packing. The room felt suffocating. The walls had once been filled with music, with laughter, with unspoken comfort. Now they echoed with ghosts. I need to know, Jimin continued, more desperate this time. I need to hear it from you, Jungkook. Because if you didn't love me, if this was always just loyalty, or convenience, or guilt, then I'll leave. I'll walk out, and I won't look back. But if any part of it was real, if any part of you wanted to stay, then I'll fight for this. Even if I have to bleed. Jungkook still didn't look at him. It wasn't guilt, he said at last. And it wasn't convenience. Then what was it? It was fear, Jungkook whispered. Fear that if I told you the truth, I'd lose you. And I was right. Jimin blinked, stung. You lost me anyway, because I couldn't carry the silence anymore, Jungkook said, finally meeting his gaze. I watched you fall apart 100 times, and I caught you every single one of them. But when I cracked, you didn't even notice. That's not fair. It's not meant to be, Jungkook replied. Life wasn't fair to any of us. You think I didn't care? Jimin's voice rose. You think I didn't sit in my room and read every message you never sent? You think I didn't beg for time to reverse? I hated myself for missing it. For missing you. Then why didn't you say anything? Because I thought you hated me. I never hated you, Jungkook snapped. I resented you. I resented how easily you could shut the world out, how you could disappear, and everyone would still rush to protect you. I stayed, Jimin, through everything. I stayed, and all I got in return was silence. I was surviving, Jimin shouted. So was I, Jungkook exploded. The only difference is, when you break, it's beautiful. It's artistic. But when I break, it's inconvenient. Jimin staggered back like he'd been punched. I didn't know how to carry you, he whispered. That's the thing, Jungkook said, his voice suddenly cold. I never asked you to carry me, I just asked you to see me. I did, Jimin said, not the parts that mattered. The silence that followed was unbearable. Neither of them moved. Neither of them spoke. And then the door opened. Taehyung stepped in, clearly uninvited. His eyes darted between the two of them, instantly reading the tension. I came to give you this, he said, tossing a thick envelope onto the coffee table. The legal transfer papers. Hybe finalized it. Your contract's officially terminated. Jungkook nodded once. Thanks. Taehyung looked at Jimin, then back at Jungkook. You're really leaving the country? Jungkook glanced at his suitcase. I need space, time. I booked a small place outside of Kyoto. No cameras, no fans, no noise. And no us, Taehyung muttered. That too. Can I ask something? Taehyung said, his voice sharp now. Why did you never tell me about her? Jungkook stiffened. I found out from Twitter, Taehyung continued. Not from you. Not from anyone. You let the world know before the people who stood next to you on stage. For a decade. I didn't plan for it to leak. But you didn't plan to tell us either, Taehyung snapped. Jimin sat down slowly, drained. Taehyung's voice broke. Did we matter, Jungkook? Or were we just part of the story you were trying to escape from? Jungkook looked at him, eyes heavy with emotion. You mattered. You always mattered. But I couldn't breathe anymore inside that version of us. You could have told us, Taehyung said. You could have trusted us. I did, Jungkook said. But every time I reached out, I got nothing back. Taehyung swallowed his anger. You were never alone. I felt alone, Jungkook said. And that's worse. Another silence. Taehyung looked at Jimin. Say something. Jimin didn't move. Taehyung turned back to Jungkook. Then I will. He stepped closer. I was there the night you almost collapsed before a concert. I held you up and told you to breathe. You told me you were fine, but I saw the panic in your eyes. You lied to me, and I let you. Because I thought I was protecting your pride. And now you're telling me I never cared? Jungkook looked away. Don't rewrite history just because the ending hurts, Taehyung said. Jungkook's voice was low. The ending wasn't my choice. It was written the moment I stopped being seen. Taehyung let out a hollow laugh. You were the most seen person in the world, but not the most understood. He picked up the suitcase and closed it. Jimin stood. Don't go yet, he said. Jungkook didn't stop. Please. Jimin whispered. Jungkook looked at him. You said you'd knock. I am. Then say what you came to say. Jimin stepped forward. I loved you, he said. Not in the way you needed. Not when you needed it. But I loved you. And I still do. Jungkook's breath caught. I loved you when you were asleep on planes. I loved you when you forgot lyrics and laughed like a kid. I loved you when you cried silently after reading hate comments you said didn't affect you. I loved you when you stood on stage and lit up the world but looked empty when the lights turned off. Jungkook didn't speak. And I didn't say it, Jimin continued. Because I didn't think I deserved you. And maybe I still don't. You don't, Jungkook whispered, voice shaking. Jimin's eyes glistened. But I love you anyway. Jungkook looked away, but the tears came anyway. I can't come back, he said. I'm not asking you to. Then what do you want? A chance, Jimin said. To stand beside you. Not as a member, not as a brand, but as me. As the person who let you down and still wants to make it right. I don't trust you, Jungkook said. Then let me earn it. There was a long pause. I'll be in Kyoto for a month, Jungkook said. I know. If you come there, it won't fix anything. I know. It might make it worse. I'm willing to risk that. Jungkook nodded. Taehyung looked between them, then left without another word. The door shut. Jungkook sighed. Why now, Jimin? Because I finally realized, Jimin said, stepping forward. You weren't the one who left first. I was. Jungkook dropped the suitcase. Jimin reached for his hand, and for the first time in a long time, Jungkook didn't pull away. Kyoto wasn't quiet. Not for someone who carried noise inside his chest. Jimin stood in front of the guest house entrance for nearly 15 minutes before ringing the bell. He'd memorized the address Jungkook had sent him 3 days ago, brief, without punctuation. Just numbers, a street, and the city. No greeting, no expectation, no promise. Jimin had booked a separate hotel nearby, knowing better than to assume anything. But when the door opened, Jungkook looked like he'd been expecting him the whole time. You're early, Jungkook said. You sent it late, Jimin replied. Neither of them moved for a few seconds. The sun was dipping behind the hills, casting a low orange hue on the wooden gate behind them. Jungkook stepped aside wordlessly. Jimin entered. The guest house was minimalist, clean, sparse. There were no framed photos, no personal belongings lying around, except for one sketchbook on the low table and 2 mugs in the sink. 2 mugs. Jimin noticed it immediately. She's still here, he said. She's packing, Jungkook replied. Jimin nodded, staring at the sketchbook. I didn't know you drew again. I don't. She does. He reached for the book and closed it gently. You've changed, Jimin said. Jungkook didn't answer right away. Or maybe you haven't, Jimin added. Maybe I just didn't see it before. Jungkook sat on the floor and motioned for Jimin to do the same. He did. She helped me realize something, Jungkook said after a long silence. I was waiting for people to ask how I felt, but I never taught them how to listen when I finally answered. Jimin swallowed hard. So you blame us? No, Jungkook said. I blame me too. She hates me, Jimin said. Doesn't she? She doesn't know you. She knows me through you. That's enough to hate someone. Jungkook didn't deny it. Jimin looked around. Are you in love with her? I was. Was? Jimin asked carefully. Or maybe I thought I was, Jungkook said, because she gave me silence without pressure. And I mistook that for safety. Jimin shifted. And now, I still care about her, Jungkook said. But I don't want to run away anymore. You think I'm part of the place you were running from? I think you are the place I was running from, Jungkook said. The words hit too hard. But Jimin didn't flinch. Not this time. Then why invite me here? Jungkook looked at him. Because the only way to move forward was to walk back into the fire. Jimin exhaled, frustrated. I don't know what you want me to say, Jungkook. You want an apology? I'll say it again. You want me to hurt like you did? I already am. You want me to admit I was blind? Fine, I was, but I never stopped caring. I know that now, Jungkook said. You knew it back then, Jimin snapped. You just didn't want it from me. Not the broken version, not the ashamed one. You wanted the Jimin who danced through pain and didn't bleed in public. That's not true. It is, Jimin said. Because if it wasn't, you would have let me in instead of her. Footsteps interrupted the silence. A soft shuffle from the other room. Then she appeared. She wasn't intimidating, nor beautiful in the traditional way, but her eyes were sharp, calm, like someone who had already done the crying in private and had nothing left to lose. Her gaze flicked to Jimin, and then to Jungkook. She crossed her arms. You didn't tell me he was coming. I didn't think I had to, Jungkook said. Jimin stood. I'm not staying. I just came to say what I should have said before. She stepped closer. Then say it. Jimin blinked, surprised. Excuse me? Say it, she repeated. To him, to yourself, to whoever you've been protecting this whole time. Jimin looked at Jungkook, who didn't interfere. I was jealous of you, Jimin said to her, because you got the part of him I thought belonged to me. And I hated that you didn't have to earn it. You just walked in when we were collapsing and took what you wanted. Her expression didn't change. I didn't take anything. He gave it, Jimin nodded. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just admitting what I never had the guts to say. That I loved him selfishly. That I thought being by his side all those years made me entitled to his loyalty. Jungkook stood now, too. Slowly. I loved you, Jimin said to him.